I'd like to expand a little on the trigger adjusting process for the Majestic Arms Gold Standard trigger. The Gold Standard trigger by Majestic Arms is a fully adjustable trigger for the Ruger Mark II, III, and IV series pistols. The bottom trigger section adjusts for length of pull. The top adjusts for pre-travel and over-travel. This smaller screw is for pre-travel and the larger screw is for over-travel. Now you may wonder, why does the Gold Standard trigger have to be adjusted on the inside rather than on the outside? The reason is because the Gold Standard has an additional feature in that it's got a length of pull adjustment on the trigger. In other words, that trigger can be set so that it's this far forward or this far backwards to adjust for the size of the shooter's hand. See, there's an adjustment screw right here that loosens, and this trigger can actually slide forward and backwards so you can perfectly match the shooter's hand. Because of this capability, there's no room for pre- and over-travel screws on the external parts of the Gold Standard trigger. So they're on the inside. When you adjust the pre-travel and over-travel screws, think in terms of a clock face, and the movement, the turning distance of like one number on the small pre-travel screw amounts to 2/1000ths of adjustment. When you think of the larger over-travel screw, the amount of one number amounts to 3/1000ths of adjustment. Okay, a typical pistol trigger job, or any kind of a trigger job for a gunsmith, involves taking the gun apart, stoning some surfaces, putting it back together, trying it out, taking it back apart, stoning or adjusting surfaces, putting it back together, trying it out. And I wanted to demonstrate that that's not such a big deal on the Gold Standard trigger, because you do have to work on the inside of the Gold Standard trigger. But it's really not that hard to work on. All you have to do is take the trigger, lift it out like this. There's your screws. You do your adjusting, put it back, wiggle the pin to get it in place, take it off the wrench, rack the slide, test, rack the slide, test, take it apart, put her back, punch the pin, lift the trigger, adjust, put her back, wiggle it in, take it off, rack the slide, and so forth. Now when you adjust each screw so that it becomes too tight for the gun to operate, and then back off. That's the way I did mine. Adjust for too much pre-travel and then back off. Adjust for too much over-travel and then back off. And when you back off like, you know, one number on the clock scale on the screws. Now this is a one that I think I've done a pretty good job on. Hardly any movement to set her off. and a pretty decent reset. All set for another good shot.